Back at it here, working on a 19th day of September 2024. That makes it a Thursday, I believe, according to my calendar. I am Dan Kuntz, and this is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's another beautiful day here in north central Washington, 57 degrees. A little cooler today, a little cooler to the start of the day today than it was yesterday, but it's going to be another gorgeous day. This is beautiful yesterday. Sunny and warm and 81. We're going to do it again today. Sunny and warm, about 81 or so. Weak cold front comes in tonight. It's going to bring us a little bit of a breeze, going to cool us down to more normal temperatures. Our normal high this time of the year is 76 degrees. We'll be around that area on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then another ridge of high pressure going to build up and give us some very warm temperatures by the middle of next week, right back up to the mid-80s. I was predicting earlier this week when we got to, what was it, 84 on Monday, that would be the end of that. We probably wouldn't see mid-80s anymore. Well, I was wrong. It'll be back next week. A forecast I think you're going to like is coming up. News, whether you like it or not, we think it's important that you know what's going on around here, and we'll do the news too. Sports, well, Mariners, now there's just 10 games left in the regular season. They're not helping themselves. Tough extra inning loss to the Yankees last night, including a rather bizarre base running blunder by Julio Rodriguez in the bottom of the 10th inning. We'll show you highlights of that. A lot of prep action going on tonight. We'll go through the schedule. Rivercom needs telecommunicators, formerly known as dispatchers. They call them telecommunicators now. They're the first responders, and they need them. They need them bad. They got a big hiring push going on right now. This is going to be a free event. It's going to be held on Saturday to get people maybe interested in becoming a telecommunicator, going to work for Rivercom. Doug Jones is the executive director. We'll have that for you by conversation with Doug and Monica Seabird, who is one of the telecommunicators. She'll talk about how cool the job is to work for Rivercom. And it's Thursday. Pause for Pets. Daisy the dog needs a permanent home. We'll hop on down the road and visit with our friends at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. 2 minutes after the hour, here we go. Once again, the Wenatchee Heights camera says good morning to you. 81 yesterday, our normal high is 76, but just beautiful. We're going to do it all over again today. Barely a cloud in the sky, full moon, gorgeous. This is a great time of year weather-wise. Sunrise this morning was at 6:44, sunset tonight, 7:03. That's 12 hours and 19 minutes of daylight today. We continue to lose just about 3 minutes and 20 seconds of daylight a day. But we don't go under the 12-hour mark where the nights will be longer than the days. That doesn't happen until next Wednesday, the 25th. Even though the autumnal equinox is on Sunday, we won't be flipping the other side of that 12-hour mark, sunrise, sunset. That won't happen until Wednesday, the 25th, because, well, you know why. It's the tilt of the Earth and the axis and the leap year and all that other stuff. We don't need to get into that. Let's say good morning to Lake Wenatchee, because it looks something like this. Beautiful morning up there. Good time of the year to visit Lake Wenatchee. It's very pleasant. Just kind of sweater weather in the mornings and in the late afternoon hours. In the middle of the day, you can wear your shorts. A little fire at night. Beautiful area up there at Lake Wenatchee from our camera up there. Let's go all the way down to, I forgot the name of the camera again. I always do. Washenflachen or something like that. I don't know. It's way down south. It's not too far from Royal City. Beautiful view there. A little sliver of the Columbia checking in. A gorgeous view down there. And finally up to Lake Chelan and Bear Mountain. The Bear Mountain camera. I have not played Bear Mountain this year. I usually play Bear Mountain at least once or twice a year. It's a great golf course. I haven't done it yet. Shame on me. I haven't really been golfing much at all this year. Life got in the way. Good morning to Lake Chelan. And they're still not done. I mean, they got the big Mints and Hydrofest coming up. They got all kinds of cool things going on in Chelan. Just because the official tourist season comes to an end on Labor Day weekend doesn't mean there's a lack of stuff to do in Lake Chelan. Trust me on that. From the National Weather Service, here we go. You like this? How about sunshine at 81? We're just going to do Wednesday all over again is what we're going to do. Not much of a wind, northwest wind about 8 to 13 miles an hour. 52 for the overnight low tonight is when the cold front begins to come in. It's a weak cold front, not particularly robust, but it is going to cool us down, as you can see, with a little bit of wind on Friday. We'll get up to 74 degrees. A little cool Friday night. 49 for the overnight low. We haven't been in the 40s for the overnight low in quite a time. Saturday, a little bit warmer, 77. The cold air will be here, but it'll start exiting the area. Still a little breezy on Saturday and Saturday night. Sunday, a few passing clouds. That's about it. and a high of 77. Sunday night is when the next ridge of high pressure not only is going to build up, it's going to also usher in some warmer air from the south. That's why we're going to bump up to 80 on Monday, 84 on Tuesday, 85 on Wednesday. Even though summer ends on Sunday and autumn begins Sunday morning, it's going to feel summerish, certainly Tuesday and Wednesday, and perhaps all of next week. That's your forecast. The news is 2 minutes away. I promise. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, located on South Wenatchee Ave, has the largest selection of spas and swim spas in town. Stay cool this summer in an artesian swim spa and use it all year long. We enjoy helping families reconnect one spa at a time. Hot tubs are proven to improve sleep and decrease arthritis pain. Our passion is water, so please bring us a water sample, and we will help you diagnose your pool or spa water for free. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, your pool and spa experts.
Riley Gaines, the All-American female swimmer at the University of Kentucky, is our guest speaker for the Chelan County Republican Lincoln Day Dinner and Fundraiser, September 22nd at 6 p.m. at the Wenatchee Convention Center. Riley's call to action is to defend and protect America's daughters from competing with and sharing locker rooms with biological men. Join us for an exciting evening with Riley Gaines and support our local candidates. VIP event at 5, dinner at 6. Go to Chelan County Lincoln Day at gmail.com for tickets.
Paid for by the Chelan County Republican Central Committee.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
I'm Jim Heinlein, and I've been working with you all for about 20 years now. And it's safe to say I've seen most every situation as it relates to annual election period. This AEP is going to be like a tsunami. It's not tall, but it's huge in effect. And when the water retreats, you're going to see the damage to those who didn't react properly. So what is a proper reaction? Well, call a local insurance professional like Springwater Insurance. We have already developed a strategy for those of you who need a change. Give us a call at 509-888-2600.
Lots of sunshine, 57 degrees, right about that 80, 81 degree mark again today. It's going to be just beautiful. A little breezy and slightly cooler Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then right back up to the mid-80s. By the middle of next week, it's 8 minutes after the hour. The Town Toyota Center is working to recover $250,000 it paid to a fake agent to reserve a concert date with the pop supergroup Imagine Dragons. An agent who identified himself as part of the band's management company was introduced to the Town Toyota Center management by the Town Toyota Center's booking company, a company by the name of Harmony Artists. The Wenatchee area then the Wenatchee Arena wire transferred that $250,000 to the agent to reserve the concert date, and then they found out that the agent was a fraud. They found that out about 3 weeks later. The Town Toyota Center is now working with the booking company and the insurance agency to get a full refund. They're also collaborating with law enforcement in hopes of catching the person responsible for the scam. A Chelan County jury on Monday convicted a 78-year-old man of 13 sex abuse counts against a minor child, including rape and molestation. Wesley Allen Cheney, Sr. of Chelan, was found guilty of sexually abusing the victim for years, from early childhood all the way to age 11. Investigators say Cheney was a friend of the victim's family, was often alone with the child. Chelan County Sheriff's deputies arrested him in the spring of 2022 after the child disclosed multiple instances of abuse. He was charged with 14 sex offenses and acquitted of just one. That was communication with a minor for immoral purposes. The jury took about 2 hours and 40 minutes to convict Cheney on Monday. After 3 days of testimony, Judge Travis Brandt ordered his $1 million bail revoked. He is currently sitting in the Chelan County Jail until he's sentenced on October 18th. He'll likely spend the rest of his life in prison. The Wenatchee motorist who struck and injured a motorcyclist last spring west of Leavenworth will serve a 43-month prison sentence. Stephen Mario Perez was intoxicated when he caused that wreck. He pled guilty last month to the charges of vehicular assault and eluding police. Perez struck the 58-year-old motorcyclist with his 2000 Honda Accord near Winton. Prior to that, he fled from Wenatchee police who attempted to pull him over for driving recklessly at high speeds through the city. Judge Robert Jordan imposed the 43-month sentence on Monday. Perez had 2 prior convictions for driving under the influence. The Wenatchee School District wants to hear feedback on challenges affecting the school district, its school facilities, and its need for future improvements. In a press release, the Wenatchee School District said the survey is part of the district's efforts to address the challenges related to enrollment declines and aging buildings. Feedback, they want it from parents, they want it from staff, community members, and the district will use all that data to inform and guide future facility improvement plans. The survey is available both in English and Spanish. You go on to the Wenatchee School District's website, it pops up right there. The survey, by the way, will close on September 24th. And Wenatchee Valley students got a visit from an internet-famous police officer this week who works to unite youth and law enforcement. The East Wenatchee Police Department teamed up with a number of organizations, including Together for Youth, school resource officers, the Eastmont, Wenatchee, and Cashmere school districts. They all got together to bring Ryan Tillman to the Wenatchee Valley. He has a lot of followers on TikTok, almost 300,000 followers on TikTok. He's got another 100,000 or so will follow him on Instagram. He is the founder of Breaking Barriers United that aims to foster relationships between law enforcement and the community they serve. Our cameras caught up with Tillman just before the assembly on Tuesday at Eastmont High School.
So Breaking Barriers United was an organization that I started about 8 or 9 years ago with the sole purpose of bridging the gap between law enforcement and the community. It's since evolved into much more, and now I travel across the country trying to resolve conflict amongst one another. Now my work primarily focuses on just unifying divides and bridging those divides, which started at just divides against law enforcement and the community has now since evolved into just how do we resolve conflict in general. And it really gets down to 3 important components, which is lead with love, lead with empathy, and lead with respect. And if we can do those 3 things, you can resolve any type of conflict. So I ended up a police officer because my dad's best friend was a police officer. And at the time I was like, absolutely not, don't want to be a police officer, don't like police officers. But after praying about it, I asked God, what do you want me to do with my life? I went into the door, and that's when the door just kind of flew off the hinges and I became a police officer. The way I ended up here is, so I have a pretty large social media following. So I get people from all over the country that will reach out to me because they saw a video that I promoted or a presentation that I did. One of the officers from this community reached out and said, hey, would you be willing to come and talk to our students about helping and assisting them resolve conflict? And so that's how I ended up here in Wenatchee, Washington. Today, the premise of today's presentation is going to look like, how do we get back to the basics of being good human beings and good for one another? And like I said earlier, you do that by leading with love, empathy, and respect. So I'm going to talk to the kids about being strategic with every move that they make, almost like the game of chess, but I'm also going to walk them through what it looks like to resolve conflict. So speaking of my social media presence, the way I got into it, I actually was doing a lot of this work, but nobody knew about it. So I ended up trying to go out there and educate people more by showing them what I did when it came to presentations. But more importantly, about 8 or 9 years ago, I saw a police video on social media, which was hectic, and nobody knew what was going on. So I started to narrate that video so the audience would understand what they were watching, and that actually kind of went viral. And so I started doing more breakdown videos as to what people are watching when they see these law enforcement encounters. And that's not to mention, I also had a viral dance video that went viral years ago of me as an officer. Currently, I'm still a police officer. I work for the Chino Police Department, which has been a phenomenal organization. I don't work as much as I used to as an officer. I work part-time there, so I work about once or twice a month on patrol, but I still love it, and I still love pouring back into my community. So where else have I gone for this time to work? I have gone all over the country. I've probably been to almost all 50 states, from Newark, New Jersey, Tennessee, Dallas, Texas, obviously Southern California. I travel all over for this work. I was just in Arizona 2 days ago. So it's been a phenomenal journey. I feel like I'm really doing God's work, but it's mostly more so impactful. I was at Cashmere earlier today, which was a great experience. And I had a lot of students come up to me after talking about the message I gave changed their life. And so that's what it's all about. If I could change one life, that's all it's about. The response I get is pretty overwhelmingly positive. A lot of people don't realize the change that they need to make in their life until we actually talk about those issues. But I've actually seen even greater change occur when I've had students say, hey, look, I was going through some situations, you helped me resolve it. So that's where you actually see real change start to occur. I just want to say thank you guys for the hospitality. The Wenatchee community has had nothing but phenomenal, Southern hospitality, even though we're not in the South. And so it's just been great. And so I just thank you guys for this opportunity to impact your kids.
That's the news at 1:15. If you think it's important to know what's going on around here, we have a team that does exactly that. We got Jefferson and Jordan and Casey and Olivia and Grant and Eric and Lions and Tigers and Bears. Oh my, the news at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock tonight, 5, 6, and 10 on TV. Up and running on the World Wide Web. You can watch the news on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, our homepage, ncwlife.com. Be sure to bookmark all three. That way you don't miss it. And if there's something out there you think is newsworthy, you get a hold of us. Love to hear from you. Our email address is news@ncwlife.com. We're down to just 10 games left in baseball's regular season, and right now the Mariners are still on the outside looking in. Sports in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up in Anchi Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
Hey there, folks. Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese splints, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Here's your coffee, that'll be $5.
Thanks.
Oh, it's only $5.
Oh, I like paying double.
Why?
I've always paid more.
You wouldn't pay double for coffee. So don't pay double on your heating bill. Cut your heating bills by up to half when you switch to a heat pump or ductless mini split and get cash back from Chelan PUD plus federal tax credits. Learn more at chelanpud.org/save.
18 minutes after the hour, Anthony Rizzo hit the tie-breaking double in the 10th inning. In fact, he drove in both runs for the Yankees. New York clinches a playoff spot with a 2-1 victory over the Mariners last night. The postseason berth is the 59th in Yankee history and their 25th playoff trip. In the last 30 years for Seattle, they remain 5 games behind first place Houston in the division, 3 back of Minnesota for the league's last wild card berth.
There's a base hit to right field for Rizzo. Over the drawn-in infield. Dominguez scores an RBI single for the Yankee first baseman. It's 1-0 Yanks.
Well, really nice at-bat by Anthony Rizzo. All you need to do is make contact, try to lift the ball in the air, get a sac fly. He gets a hanging slider.
1-1. That might be it. Down the line. Gone! A home run for JT. Justin Turner ties it here in the 8th. Justin Turner. Hey now. New ball game at 1-1. His 11th homer overall. JT with his 5th home run as the Mariners' 17th run batted in. The veteran gets a chance to ride with the Trident. Look at this. Hanger, banger. See you later. Runner at second base with Rizzo at the plate. He lines that one. Base hit down the right field line. That'll score a run. Rizzo's going for 2. It's an RBI double. And the Yankees take the lead. So the inherited runner was Dominguez. And Rizzo jumped on the first pitch. And he drives in his second run and the Yankees' second run. 1-2 pitch. Little punch job. Might be trouble. Might be trouble. Come get it. He does. Nice catch. Luke Raley saves further damage, thank goodness. Runners lead, 2-2. Swing and a miss. And the ball is thrown to third, and they get J-Rod. Oh, what a happenstance. Arozarena strikes out, lets go of the bat. Rodriguez trying to get out of the way, strayed too far off of third, and then the quick throw to Chisholm for the double play.
Well, he got caught sleeping. Great job by the Yankees. There you see the bat. He had to get out of the way, and he forgot that he had to get back to the bag. Nice job by Wells. Nice job by Jazz.
Hamilton takes a peek at first. Robles with the lead. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 3. It's the ball game. The Yankees win it 2-1 in 10, and they are heading back to the postseason. It is step 1 in what hopes to be a deep run through October. The New York Yankees have clinched tonight a playoff berth with a victory here in Seattle. 2-1 the final in 10 innings.
Mariners and Yankees wrap up their 3-gamer this afternoon. 1:10 first pitch. Logan Gilbert will take on the Yankees' Clark Schmidt. To the American League West scoreboard, the Mariners picked a wrong time to lose because the Astros lost again to the Padres, but there are still 5 games back of Houston. And again, there's just 10 games left, so they're 5 games back at Houston, 3 games behind Minnesota for the 3rd and final spot for the wild card. They're running out of time. Just a couple of prep scores to pass along to you. In prep volleyball last night, Lakeside at a 9 Mile Falls locked off Lake Roosevelt, and Cascade Christian Academy dispatched Orville in 3 straight sets. The score, the schedule. To the pitch we go. Wenatchee will host a non-leaguer against Quincy at Leibofter Field of the Apple Bowl, 7 o'clock tonight. 6 o'clock for Connell, welcoming Cashmere. Manson will be at Omak. Orville will be at Cascade. Chelan at Othello, and Bridgeport at Okanagan. In girls soccer, more soccer. We got so much we had to do another slide. Liberty Bell will be at Tenasket. Pateras travels to Brewster. It'll be Lake Roosevelt and Reardon. Keona Benton will take on Wapato. Royal welcomes Walook, and Neches Valley will be at College Place at 6 o'clock. Prep volleyball, full slate of action as well. Sunnyside welcomes Eastmont Wildcats at 7 o'clock, same time for West Valley and Moses Lake. Davis will welcome Eisenhower in Big 9 volleyball. Smaller schools, you got Brewster at Chelan, Omak at Cascade, Freda at Grandview, and there is still more volleyball. Prosser will be at Quincy at 6 o'clock, Okanagan and Liberty Bell 6:30, same time for Manson and Lake Roosevelt. Bridgeport welcomes Tenasket. Waterville Mansfield will be at Antioch at 6:30. Garden City Academy will take on Pateras at 5:30 in girls volleyball. And the Bridge of Sportsmanship game has been moved. The Battle of the Bridge, it was originally scheduled for Friday night, October 4th. At Leibofter Field of the Apple Bowl. There's a lack of officials, simply not enough to go around for Friday night football for Eastmont and Wenatchee, so they have moved it from Friday, October 4th to Saturday, October 5th at 6 o'clock at Leibofter Field at the Apple Bowl. So they moved it to Saturday. They need officials. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Considering it's one of the most popular sports to watch during the Olympics, we watch the gymnastics all the time during the Paris Olympics. I was rather surprised when I did the research for today's obscure holiday. It's National Gymnastics Day, by the way. I did the research and I discovered that even though men's gymnastics goes back to the beginning of the modern Olympics, the Athens Games of 1896, women's gymnastics didn't happen until the 1928 Antwerp Games. So the men had about a 30-year head start on the women in gymnastics, even though I think women's gymnastics is probably more popular. Of course, if you watched the men's and the women's gymnastics competition during the Olympics, there are differences between the two. Both men and women compete in floor exercises and the vault, but the men don't jump off the vault, the women do. And women's floor routines has more dancing and more music as well. Of course, men have the parallel bars, the rings, and the pommel horse, the high bar. Women do the uneven bars and the balance beam. There are minor differences in routines and stuff like that, but it is National Gymnastics Day, perhaps the worst sport I could personally do myself, even when I was younger and in shape. I just admire the heck out of gymnasts. I don't know how the hell they do it. 24 minutes after the hour today in history. It took 15 years and 88 road games, but they finally did it. September 19th, 1982, just before the football strike, 42 years ago today, the Saints beat the Bears 10-0 in Chicago, the first road shutout in franchise history. The Saints went back to 1967. They had played 88 road games and not shut out a single opponent. They finally did it. They did it on this tape 42 years ago today. Very controversial whether to publish the Unabomber's manifesto. The Attorney General of the United States and the Director of the FBI said, well, if we publish it, two things might happen. Number one, Ted Kaczynski, who they didn't know at the time, said, if you publish my manifesto, I won't blow anybody up anymore. And the FBI and the Attorney General said maybe somebody will recognize his style of writing and send us down the right path so we can find this guy. So on this date in 1995, the Washington Post and the New York Times both published the Unabomber's manifesto. It's about 30,000 words. They did it, and it worked. Ted Kaczynski's brother recognized the style of his writing, and they sent him in the right direction. They would catch him because they went ahead and did something that they normally wouldn't do. That was 29 years ago today. And September 19th, 2011, 13 years ago today, Mariano Rivera of my Yankees surpasses Trevor Hoffman to become the all-time saves leader with his 602nd save. Here's how it happened.
0-2, 2 outs, ninth inning, Yankees up 6-4. Rivera sets and deals. Strike three, ball game over, Yankees win, and it's perfect because the greatest closer in history now has the most saves in history. With 602, he moves ahead of Trevor Hoffman, and he stands alone atop the closer mountain.
He, of course, is still baseball's all-time saves leader. He retired with 652 saves, still the all-time record. And let's do birthdays. I could have been Batman's son. Batman could have been my dad. True story, Adam West, born in the state in 1928. His real name is Bill Anderson. He and my mom dated when they both went to Whitman College in Walla Walla. He was a Walla Walla native. And he and my mom were a couple until my mom met my dad. She broke up with Bill Anderson, and, well, the rest is history. But I could have been Batman's kid. Adam West, born in the state in 1928, died 6 years ago at the age of 88. Brian Epstein, the man who discovered the Beatles. The Beatles manager made some blunders along the way, but he was the one who said, if you let me clean up your act and get you a record contract, I think you might go someplace. Brian Epstein, the manager of the Beatles, born in the state in 1934, died of a drug overdose at the age of 32. Bill Medley, 84 years old today, the last surviving member of the Righteous Brothers. He's the baritone. He's good songwriter and producer as well. And Jimmy Fallon celebrates a milestone today. Jimmy Fallon is 50. He is the 6th host of The Tonight Show. He's been hosting the show for the last 10 years. He is 50 years old today. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, wouldn't you know it? That's Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. This has probably been the hardest working air conditioning season of all time. We had an unbelievably hot July. August was hot. It's been a very warm September. How's your AC holding up? It's going to have to work a little while longer. Get a hold of Alpine Air if you think something might not be on the up and up. Still to come, Rivercom needs telecommunicators. Doug Jones is the executive director of Rivercom. Monica Siebert is a telecommunicator. They need help. They need warm bodies. It's a good job. We're going to hear from both Doug and Monica. Mike McKnighty's got an opinion, but first of all, Dottie the dog needs a home. It's Pause for Pets.
Pause for Pets is presented to you by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Merry Maids, the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center, and Club Crow Bar and Grill.
Hi, I'm Corley with the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, Animal Care Manager. And this week I want to introduce you to Dottie. Dottie is our, I think, 1.5 year Shepherd mix girl. She came to us as an owner surrender a couple weeks ago. And we still don't have a lot of information on her from that, but we do know that she's house trained. Yes, you're a very polite, sweet girl. Yes. And we know from getting to know her that she has a heart of love, and she's playful, and she's sweet and cuddly, and just a very nice girl. She loves going on walks, and she loves doing tricks for you. She's very good at sit. Yes, and she can even spin. That's a fun one. She seems to get along well with our dogs here, which is nice. She's very non-reactive. She likes stuffed animals and balls and treats. Yes, she loves hot dogs, and she has very soft ears. Treatment. Yeah, and she's just one of those super easy dogs. Just like, I think would be a really good family dog. She's just really chill. Yeah, and she's really quiet. I have not heard her bark, and she wants to meet you. Dottie actually will be one of a few dogs that we're taking to Petco this weekend, if you want to meet her there. We're going to be there on Saturday, the 21st, from noon to 3, and Dottie will be there, and we'll have, I think, 3 or 4 other dogs also that we want you to meet. Yes, so we're looking forward to that. And we're looking forward to meeting Dottie. And if you do want to meet her here, we are open from Thursday to Tuesday, 12:30 to 6, or you can make an appointment online for Wednesday. We want to do whatever we can to get you to meet this wonderful girl.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Pause for Pets is presented to you by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Merry Maids, the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center, and Club Crow Bar and Grill.
Another fall sports season is upon us. Yes, we'll be talking about Eastmont football, but also volleyball and girls soccer. Be sure and join us for the Eastmont Wildcats all season long right here on the NCW Life Channel, your local TV station. Coverage is presented by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Kennedy Real Estate Group, Les Schwab, Sangster Motors, Save Mart, Together for Youth, and Valley Tractor.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it, or we'll replace it, no questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires, because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, a client once asked me how to work on their self-esteem without relying on platitudes such as, I am somebody, etc. I said that one of the ways to look at your self-esteem is to assess my value and consider how I'm seen and valued by others. Now, I may often feel like I'm letting people down, letting some of the people who are closest to me down, but when in fact, these folks see me as someone who's very important to them. Now, for example, I have 3 good close friends I've had since high school who are intelligent, well-read, interesting guys. And I sometimes wonder, why the heck are they friends with me? Though, if you ask them, though, they'd probably tell you that I'm one of the few people in their lives they can count on 100% of the time. Someone whose friendship is a real blessing to their lives. Now, I may not always feel that way, but hey, like I said, these are intelligent men, so hey, who am I to argue with them? This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Want to stay up to date on the latest news in the area? Tired of paying for your news? Download the NCW Life app now. No subscriptions necessary. Get news weather, sports, and more, live as it happens. Available for iPhone and Android in the App Store. Local news at your fingertips. Don't miss the stories that matter to you. Stay connected. Download the NCW Life app now.
Flessenow is a small village in Germany, the heritage home to the Bruders family. Today, the Bruders family call Leavenworth home and make award-winning wines that celebrate the American dream. New Flessenow Cellars has spectacular views anywhere around the property, so bring your friends to taste award-winning handcrafted wines and seasonal specialties. New Flessenow is perfect for any celebration. From their family to yours, stop by this weekend and experience the charm for yourself.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Welcome back to the program. I think it went almost unnoticed, but Rivercom turned 20 years old earlier this year, approved by the voters to fund Rivercom. That happened in 2022. They had 2002. They had to wait a couple of years to build up the kitty. They started to dispatch Rivercom to the various agencies involved in July of 2004. Rivercom is 20 years old, and people want to know that their tax-paying dollars are being spent wisely and correctly, and Rivercom is a prime example of that. Before Rivercom, it was a hodgepodge of agencies, law enforcement, fire districts, EMTs. Now it's under one roof. Rivercom celebrating their 20th anniversary. Doug Jones is the executive director of Rivercom. We have a lot to talk about. First of all, they need help. They need people. We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. Doug, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity, Dan.
And was there any kind of a 20th anniversary thingamajig back in July?
Not really. It just kind of happened. We updated our lease with the city. That was about the only signing that happened. So we had a 20-year lease with the city for $1 a year, basically, because we put a lot of infrastructure in here. So they extended that for 5 years for us.
But you're still going to need a new home. I mean, Wenatchee is growing. You're kind of outgrown your space. It might have been fine 20 years ago, but it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You purchased about 12 acres of property in East Wenatchee. Rivercom did.
Yeah.
That's just the property.
Right.
The hard part is getting something built. So
Exactly.
do you have a rough timeline on building something and start bidding out?
We
things
do.
Like that?
So the board has done a good job, and Rivercom administration of really trying to put some money away over the last several years to build up a capital facilities account. So we were able to actually purchase the land cash, which is great, and that's really the first step, is getting that land. With obviously prices going up and things like that, we wanted to kind of get our foot in the door with buying that land. So that's been about a 2-year process. As you know, you have to find a piece of land when you're in this business that has characteristics that are radio friendly. So the piece that we purchased over in East Wenatchee, it has line of sight to all our different radio sites throughout the valley that then broadcast to all of our different agencies throughout the 2-county area. So that was really critical piece of the location. And then it's just a lot of space. It's got room to grow, things like that. So a lot of time and effort went into purchasing that. So I think it's going to work out.
Does you sometimes, in your job as executive director, I know you're new to it, Doug, are you concerned sometimes that people take it for granted, especially maybe some people who haven't been here as long as you and I have?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's always been there. It's always worked.
Right. Yeah.
Is that something that you have to remind people of?
I think so, and I think coming to this job on this side of the radio, the dispatch side, after working on the police side for so many years, I certainly, even being in the system, have had much greater appreciation for what the dispatchers do here and the network, the radio network, and things like that. So it's a tough job, and I really call my telecommunicators superheroes, because they really are. I mean, they're doing a lot of work. They're providing comfort to callers. They're saving lives. We had 6 life saves last year alone, where our dispatchers talked people through CPR, and it was reviewed by a doctor, and the doctor said, yes, had it not been for the dispatchers talking them through CPR, these people would have not made it. So real-time heroes, is what I call them, because they're out there every day doing a great job.
Is the term even telecommunicator, is that becoming outdated? Should we call them something else now?
No, actually telecommunicator is rather new. It's really professionalizes what we would consider the term a dispatcher, because they do more than just dispatch. They're answering the phone. They're really managing a lot to get the right resources to the people in need, at the right time. So there's a lot that goes into what they do. It's more than just dispatchers. That's why we call them telecommunicators. And as of recently, both at the state and national level, they are now considered first responders. So
well, they are.
They are.
They are. They're the first responders.
They are, exactly. So
come on September 21st in East Wenatchee is going to be a free public safety testing because Doug needs some new bodies, some people who think this might be something good for them to do. There's always been a shortage of telecommunicators. It's the nature of the beast, I suppose. It's getting more critical lately in the last year or so, hasn't it?
Yeah, like I said, we've got a big job. We answer about 60,000 911 calls per year, about 100,000 business line calls. So they're constantly answering phone lines, and we dispatch for 22 different agencies. So that's a lot of work. We are authorized 37 telecommunicators, and currently we're at 22. So we have a big gap. So what that translates is a lot of the telecommunicators, actually all of them, are putting in a lot of hours. And that's the worst part of my job, is actually mandating hours, is saying, sorry you had that event or you had planned that weekend off to go do things, but you got to come to work. And that is really heartbreaking for me and is something that we need to change. So that's why we really have a really big push on recruiting. We've got two that just went from our academy onto the floor in the last week, or a couple weeks rather. We have another two starting October 1st. They'll start the academy. And then we have this test coming up on September 21st to start looking at who do we want to put into our next academy, which is going to start in January.
22 telecommunicators answering that many calls is troubling to me personally, because they're probably raking in some pretty good dough and overtime and God knows what, but people need time off. People need downtime.
Right.
They need to have a family life and a personal life, and you're not going to have that when you're stretching 22 people thin over a business that never ever closes.
24/7, yeah.
That's troubling. What do people need to know? Say, we're planting a seed here, people, so pay close attention. The event's on September 21st, but there's a lot of things that people can do beforehand to understand whether they should even bother. And they should do their homework. And give me an example of that.
Well, first of all, we contract with public safety testing, as do all the law enforcement agencies. I think the jail does too, to do our initial testing. So if you're interested in becoming a telecommunicator, a lot of benefits, and we can talk about those. The first thing you need to do is go to our website at rivercom911.org, and there's a link there to start that process, signing up with public safety testing. Typically, you have to pay for that, but we have made an arrangement with public safety testing that if you log on and you select us as the agency you're testing for, when you go to checkout, that'll be paid for. So completely free test, September 21st in the morning. It's going to be at the fire station over in East Wenatchee, and show up and you take the test. That's really the first step. And it's not just a multiple choice test. It's specifically related to the task of telecommunicator. There's some practical exercise testing in there where you've got to find the best way to get from point A to point B. So there's a lot of mapping type stuff in there. So that's really the first step. And then from there, we take the top testers from there, and we go into an interview process, another online skills test, and then a background. So the background, if you have a background that includes criminal behavior, things like that, probably not going to pass the background, depending on what that looks like. So that's something you can think about if you're looking at that. But I think the biggest thing is, are you cut out for it? I mean, there are people that we hire. That greatest people in the world, but they don't have what it takes to be a dispatcher. They just don't have that skill set, multitasking, critical thinking, things like that. So think about that. Are you good at multitasking? We like to recruit at coffee shops because the baristas are taking money, they're getting the order, they're talking. So we hand out our recruiting cards there because those are good multitaskers, right? So and then if you really like helping people, again. That's one of the biggest benefits, I think, is just being that person that brings calm to a situation, that is able to take charge really of a call and to make sure you're getting the information that the first responders need to get that help there as quickly as possible. And that's a rewarding feeling when you do that and you do that good.
And Monica's going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Monica is one of their top
Sure.
Dispatchers. You're probably familiar with her at the Rivercom ads that we did a couple of years ago during the last really big drive. We're going to talk to her in just a little bit. I want to point one thing out, Doug. There's a typo on this that says the starting salary is almost $4,800. That can't be right. It's got to be less than that. That's pretty good money.
It is
just on the base floor.
And that's another great benefit. One of the things, I mean, you can come right out of high school, and you got to be 18, obviously, but and you can apply with us. And we put literally 7 months to a year training into making you a telecommunicator. And that is a skill that you will have for life. That's like becoming a nurse or something. I mean, getting that skill is something you're going to have for life, and something you can take. We don't want you to leave, but something you can take other places and make this kind of money. And I don't know of any other job that you can come out of high school and get $50,000 starting, and within your first year up to $60,000, $55,000 a year is kind of where we're starting at. And then after the first year, make it through your probationary period, you're up over 60. So that's not bad. That's a living wage here in Wenatchee.
And you're vested into the state system.
You're vested. You get good
phenomenal.
retirement, and they just changed the retirement system for telecommunicators. It's now PSERS. So it recognizes that it's a long career of stress in the telecommunicator world. So in PSERS, you have the option to retire a little bit earlier than 65 if you want. Maybe some reduced benefit, but still there's some options that you can retire before 65 and still make a pretty good retirement. And that's money that you put in, but primarily that's money that we put in to that retirement system for you.
One last question for Doug Jones. There's 20 some odd agencies that you guys are responsible for, between law enforcement, fire, EMTs.
I think it's 22.
22 of them. They're in many respects your clientele, your patrons. I've talked to a lot of the folks in leadership positions in all 22 of those, and they just love Rivercom. And that speaks more for Rivercom's success than you could ever do.
Right, and like I talked about earlier, I didn't know and appreciate until I got on this side of the radio how much the telecommunicators care about the first responders that they're responsible for, and it really is sobering. So. And that reflects on the job they do. They take it very seriously, so I'm just real proud of them and appreciate them so much.
Rivercom911.org is the website. It's easy to find. Do all your homework in advance. If there's something you might be interested in, circle the 21st on your calendar. And again, do your homework in advance. It's going to save you a lot of time. Doug, we're going to talk to Monica when we come back. Good enough?
Sounds good. Perfect.
I appreciate her sticking around. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Discover a level of comfort you never thought possible. Discover stressless seating at Boswell's. Designed to harmonize with your body's natural movements, it's the premier destination for relaxation and rejuvenation. Right now, take 10% off all stressless recliners, sofas, tables, and ottomans. Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, located in East Wenatchee, offers terrific views and challenging play for golfers at every skill level. From the golf course to the grill, you don't need to be a member to dine in style and play golf too. Highlander's well-groomed fairways and greens keep it difficult, yet friendly for your regular rounds of golf or a new destination for you and your out-of-town friends. Contact the Highlander Pro Shop today to schedule your tee time, outing, or tournament. Open 7 days a week, where everyone is welcome to play and eat.
Hello, 3 tickets, please.
Oh, the Discovery Center is free to visit.
So you're telling me we could look at the fish for free?
Yep, that's free.
But how much is it to drive the steamboat?
Todo es gratis.
So you're telling me that we could go play on the playground?
Still free.
It's free.
Exactly. Gratis, gratis, gratis. The Discovery Center at Rocky Beach. It's free.
It's one thing to talk to the executive director of Rivercom. It's another thing to talk to somebody who works the floor and works it well. You're familiar with this face because she was on the Rivercom ads that we did a couple of years ago. The job from a dispatcher / telecommunicator perspective. Monica, introduce yourself to our television family for those people who don't already know you.
Yes, I'm Monica Seibert. I've been here with Rivercom for going on 11 years.
Why 11 years ago? What made you do this?
Well, the family needed a change, some changes in my family life, so it was a good fit for me. I always care about the community I live in, so I thought it would be a good way to, help them. And
did you recruit yourself, or did you
I recruited myself, yes. Yeah, so, and I'm still here, and I still love the job. Every day is different, which is good. You never know what to expect when you're coming to work, and if people like that and don't like the same thing every day, this is something good. You don't know what to expect.
What is the general skill set that somebody needs to be good at a telecommunicator, as a dispatcher? Just calm under pressure?
Yes.
Is there certain things that people should know they really need to have to pursue this?
Yeah, so it's some empathy, compassion, being able to multitask, being able to hear your radio, talk on the phone, talk on the radio all at the same time. It really takes some skill set for that. And just working in a fast-paced environment and being able to work quickly and make critical decisions in a split second. And so you have to have that critical thinking as well.
Did you have the epiphany moment, the aha, oh, I can do this, and I think I might be good at it? Did that happen during the training process?
Yeah, it took me a little bit longer because I kind of was in a little bubble with my home life. I didn't have a lot of experience outside, so coming in, it was a little bit of a culture shock to me, but I have empathy for people and really want to help the community, and our law enforcement agencies. Making sure they go home safe was a major priority. They want everybody to go home to their families every night, so that officer safety, looking kind of like being a detective, is digging into when they're on a contact with somebody. Let's make sure my guys are safe with this person and this contact. So,
as Doug mentioned, you are the first responders. When something goes wrong, they're calling 911, and somebody just down the hallway from where we're sitting is answering that phone. The most critical part of your job was when you answer the phone and you understand the situation. Is this a life-threatening situation? Do I need to get somebody to this person or to this situation as quickly as possible? Or where exactly are we on that? I suppose that's the most critical thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and just being able to, if you get a hysterical caller, just be able to get that control of that caller, being able to phrase things differently to get their attention, to get your questions answered so you can send the appropriate help, the correct amount of help, and what exactly they're needing. So.
The majority of dispatchers, telecommunicators, once their job is done, they've dispatched the fire or the law enforcement or the EMT, whatever it is. Most of that has kind of been done now, and they move on to the next phone call, and you don't really get a sense of closure. But you're different. You participated in the ad campaign that we did a couple of years ago. You got to do a follow-up when you saved the life of somebody. So that must have been rewarding.
Yeah, it is. And you think about the calls that you take every day. Like when you have a traumatic call, you always wonder, oh, what happened to them? I hope they're okay. So it was nice getting closure on that call, but we don't normally get that. So if that's something you have to have, this probably wouldn't be the job for you because you don't get the closure. But you can reach out to law enforcement or the aid crew and see if they're able to give you information. But for the most part, you just move on to the next call, and in the back of your mind, a lot of us think about those people and hope they're okay, but you don't always get that closure.
How much has technology changed in the last 11 years?
A lot, yes. It's improving every day, like what Doug was talking about with a text to 911 that we started. Once we get that, being able to have it translated for us, it'll help tremendously. And then with the technology with iPhones and Apple Watches, we get a lot of crash notifications if people aren't able to call and they were in a car accident. Their phone or their watch tells us where they're at, so we're able to send them help that way. So,
well, I'm the one who asked Doug to bring on a dispatcher, a telecommunicator. He has brought you on, and I'm glad he did. Let's close with this, Monica. Sell the job to prospective telecommunicators out there, because we got to do better than 22.
Yeah.
We need to have 52 in my book.
Yeah. So if you like in a fast pace, critical thinking, you can multitask, you care about your community and your law enforcement and all your first responders, this is a place for you. We have the most compassionate people here at Rivercom. We have such an amazing crew here. Everybody works together really well as a team. We all have the same end goal. We want to send that help and keep everybody safe. So if you want to be a part of this team, this is a good fit for you. And I also recommend you coming in and doing a sit-along. You can call Rivercom and set up a time to come in and sit with a dispatcher and see if you would be able to do this job, if it's something that you're interested in. So I highly recommend that.
You're 11 years into this job. You get a lot of self-satisfaction out of this, don't you? Each day is a good day for you for the most part, isn't it?
For the most part. Like he said, we're working a lot of overtime, so we need help here so we can get some time off. But I think we're all handling it well, and we're all pulling together, and that's what's important, so we can be here and serve our community. So
you make pretty good money. You get to go home each day with a good sense of I done good.
Accomplishment, yes.
Accomplishment, and you get to help the community all at the same time. That's a win-win-win-win, if you ask me. Again, September 21st in East Wenatchee is the free public safety, as Doug mentioned already. Normally you have to pay for some of the stuff. They're going to waive the charge on that when you do that. Do your homework. Rivercom needs help, folks. They've been helping us for 20 years. It's time to return the favor. Monica, it's good to see you.
Thank you, too.
Here's hoping your next shift you're just bored. Just as bored as you can be.
I don't think
Fair
that's going to happen, but...
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
What once was old now is new to the NCW Life Channel. Tune in for Bonanza, Superman, The Andy Griffith Show, The Beverly Hillbillies, The Invisible Man, The Lone Ranger, and The Lucy Show. Check your program guide for classic programming on NCW Life Channel, your local TV station.
When you've been in business for 40 years, it's because you understand change and you put members first, always. Now Works is announcing a change in their membership model. Up to 6 people on one membership that you can mix and match. The more people, the bigger the discounts. Introducing the Works shared membership model. One membership, friends and family and flexibility. Works, the cleanest, friendliest, most helpful gyms you and your friends will ever join.
Before we jump into the weather forecast, a couple of quick programming notes I wanted to pass along. Don't forget we got high school football tomorrow night. The Eisenhower Cadets traveling up from Yakima, the gateway to Wapato, and they'll be here in the Valley to take on the Wenatchee Panthers. Leave off the field at the Apple Bowl. Brandon Harley, Grant Olson, and Eric Grandstrom with the call. Eric on the sidelines. We always love it when we get a 3-man crew. It's going to be a lot of fun. We always encourage people to go to the games to support the local high school athletes in person. But if you can't make it for whatever reason, we'll take to the air at 6:30 with the kickoff at 7 o'clock again tomorrow night. Eisenhower and Wenatchee at Leave Off the Field at the Apple Bowl in high-definition television and monophonic sound. And if you missed it during sports, I wanted to mention this one more time. The Bridge of Sportsmanship game between the Eastmont Wildcats and the Wenatchee Panthers has been moved. It was supposed to be Friday, October 4th at the Apple Bowl. It is now going to be Saturday, October 5th. At the Apple Bowl. There's simply a lack of officials for that Friday night to have all the games officiated correctly, so they've moved the Eastmont Wenatchee game from Friday the 4th of October to Saturday the 5th with a kickoff at 6 o'clock. Wanted to let you know, and of course, we'll be televising that as well. All right, from the National Weather Service, let's do it. These are the kind of days that you want to bottle and keep around for a while because it's just going to be another gorgeous day. If you liked yesterday, we're going to do it all over again. Sunshine, 81, not a lot of wind really to talk about. Northwest wind about 10 miles an hour. Now, overnight tonight, a weak front is going to move through, most of it Friday afternoon, and that's going to make things a little breezier and a little cooler. Notice we're only going to get to 74 on Friday, so we're going to cool down a little bit. That's still about normal for this time of the year, but it's going to feel considerably cooler and a little on the breezy side on Friday. If you're going to any kind of football games on Friday night, you might want to bring a sweater. It's going to get cool once the sun goes down. We'll get down to 49 overnight low on Friday night. Gobs of gooey good sunshine on Saturday with a high of 77. A few more clouds on Sunday with a high of 77. And then here comes a strengthening ridge. Will move into place Sunday night into Monday. It's not only is it going to give us high pressure, it's also going to usher in some fairly warm air, and we'll be up to 80 and then 84 and 85 by the time we get to Wednesday. Even though summer ends on Sunday morning and autumn begins, you're not going to know it by the weather. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.